I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I have a roll call, please?
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan. Here. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Here.
Scharf,
Here.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried. I need a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved. Second.
Before you vote on that, I would ask the council respectfully to remove item D under other business from the agenda.
Make the motion with the removance of the article that Alan stated.
Deb, is that okay with you?
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Under what area did we?
The very last item on the agenda.
Okay. I don't know that we have anybody for public comment.
I do have public comment. I have a Jeff and Erica Nelson that would like to address the council if they are online. Oh, that's under petitions from the public. I'm sorry. I got
Yeah,
ahead of
like I say,
myself.
that's already on the agenda. Okay, otherwise, nobody else? Then I need, next is, I will need a motion to accept and approve the consent agenda that approves the following: minutes of the March 8th, 2021 regular meeting, minutes of the March 15th, 2021 special meeting, music station Class B wine permit, Class C beer permit, carry-out beer, Class E liquor license, and Sunday sales liquor license for April 29th, 2021 through April 28th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Next, I need a motion to approve claims for payment.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Motion and a second to approve claims for payment. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Okay, or is this what we're down to? Since I'm
Yes.
not up yet. Okay, next is bank reconciliations.
This is for your information. It does not require formal action. If you have any questions on bank rec and what's gone into that for the month of February.
So that's just for information, no action is needed.
Correct. Likewise, for your budgeted and monthly transfers, this is for your information. These are the activities that have taken place, showing you the monies that have been transferred on the transfer spreadsheet between the general fund to the library, emergency levy receipts to the general fund, civic center levy receipts to the CIP, sewer fund to the sewer bond fund.
Any questions? We'll move on to number 4, special events application from Independence Chamber. Nikki, I believe you're on Ring Central?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Anything you'd like to explain, or is there any questions of Nikki for these events?
Well, the first 3 are Friday Night Live, so they are normal Friday Night Live application for each summer. We are doing 3 this year, June 11th, July 30th, and August 13th. Nothing has really changed. Same place, just a bit of a different time. We're going to have them at 6 to 10 instead of 5 to 9. 5 to 6 o'clock hour is not as well attended, so we'd like to move them from 6 to 10. And that's kind of about it.
You'll be following any restrictions from the health department or anything like that?
Not at this time, there are not any.
Okay.
I make a motion, we accept that.
I have one I'd like to bring up. These events, I know about them because Nikki had talked to me about them before, but they weren't emailed out to us to actually take a look at. I happened to come across them at the council meeting agenda tonight, and that's why I was able to see them. Is there a way to approve them as long as they're all approved by the department heads this week? Instead of trying to come back to the next council meeting?
Well, it wouldn't be. Can't we?
Do you normally sign off on those?
Yes, because they're shutting down roads and they're closing things up, and just so we make sure that we have it all under control, we know what's going on. So
Okay.
I looked through all of them, and I didn't see anything that would be a real big issue, but just so that all the department heads that sign off on this have the chance to see it, if you wouldn't mind approving it, as long as we all get the chance to sign off on it before it's actually approved.
Makes sense.
And the first event until June,
Right.
correct? I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay. And I don't know if Nikki has any time restraints on, like, signing people up for the event, for the bands and stuff, so that's why I don't want to hold her up till the next council meeting. So that way, if it's just approved so we all get it taken care of.
Are you being able to hear him, Nikki, the fact that he did not receive this information to sign off on it ahead of time?
I did hear that, yes.
Okay.
Nikki's imperative that we okay it, and with the contingency that gets done, or are you okay with doing it the next meeting?
I would like to be able to get my alcohol licenses in.
I see.
Those have to go in about 60 days before. And I would assume they're not going to be quite as timely, or I think we're going to see an uptick in them this year, so maybe they might have a backlog. So I would like to be able to get my application in for the alcohol license as soon as I can.
And like I said,
Yeah, okay, well, can I amend the motion or modify it, whatever, that we approve it upon the contingency that department heads or everybody's
Yes,
fine. It's all
that's
right.
appropriate.
Okay,
I'd like to make that motion then.
okay.
Thank
And
you.
Who
did
was
we
the
hear
second?
a second, or have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, under the same thing, okay? So that's just, do you want to do these separate then? That's the Friday Night Live, go ahead and approve
Those are
those?
just the Friday Night Live, yeah.
And then take the other one as another motion? Okay. So for approving just the 3 Friday Night Lives under the contingency, I need a roll call, please.
Callahan?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Scharf?
Yes?
Kurtz?
Yes.
O'Laughlin?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Thank you, that motion is carried. Next, you have one on the chalk art event, which is a new one for this year.
Yeah, the chalk art event. We haven't quite come up with a name for it yet. We have some different names floating around. I think I might have talked about this at a meeting last year, earlier in the year before everything got shut down, but we're going to have a chalk art event, kind of like what, we would like to have a chalk art event. Kind of like Mount Vernon, they have a Chalk the Walk event. It is a 2-day, it'll be a 2-day event. We would like to have it down in the Riverwalk Park area this year. Ultimately, we would like to have it downtown. So we could bridge the gap between the farmer's market and the downtown. I did send out a event map for it. I don't know if you've all had a chance to see the event map, but it is really the square right around Riverwalk Park with the band shell. So those roads would need to be shut down from 6 a.m. the day it starts until 8 a.m. on Sunday. So it would be from Saturday to Sunday. But we'll have food vendors, we're gonna have a handmade fair. We will also have a community mural. We have already chosen a community artist, John Decker. We are going to use one of his pieces as our community mural. And with that, what you do is, PC Stoner from Science and More has offered to scale this out. It will be 2 by 2, as in 2 foot by 2 foot pieces that the community will be able to use the chalk to draw a square, a 2 foot by 2 foot square, and in the end you come up with a community mural, which will be one of John Decker's pieces. This is a family event, just like Friday Night Live, but we are not going to be asking for an alcohol license for this, so we will not need anything like that. It's just another community event down at the park. We will have music, smaller music, maybe like 2 to 3 piece acoustical people playing.
So will they be doing the chalking on the sidewalk around Riverwalk Park, or
Nope, they will be chalking on the street.
the street
That's why
itself?
the street will be closed.
Okay,
If you can see the map, we wanted it closed from Corinne Avenue all the way down to Nelson Avenue, and Nelson Avenue from 5th to 6th, and then First Avenue between 5th and 6th also, or 5th and 6th Street, I should say. So, and there we will be putting out applications for artist applications. If you have a chance, just go out to Mount Vernon's Chalk the Walk. You can look at it up on Facebook, Google, anything like that. I've been speaking with the gentleman, Joe Jennison, from their community, who has helped put this on. This is their 15th year in doing it. They have 170 artist spots this year, and it gets bigger every year. We've already been down there and counted out. We can put about 65 artists in 8 by 10 squares. So we do have them. Basically, we'll use the way the road is cut and do them every other square, so the artists will be socially distanced, and that also.
any other questions from council?
So you don't have a date set for this one yet?
Yep, we do.
Oh, you
It
do?
is
June 19th.
June 19th and 20th.
Which is a Friday, Saturday?
Nope, it's a
Saturday,
Saturday,
Sunday, okay.
It's actually Father's Day weekend.
Okay,
Does this prevent anybody from getting to their homes on those days?
No. Not that I could see from
Well-
this park.
There aren't any houses on that particular block.
It-
There's the ones on Corinne Avenue, like, that would be off of Second. Corinne Avenue will not be shut. It will just be shut at that intersection there. So, and each one of the other, up like Nelson Avenue and First Avenue, they can come in from 7th Street. I don't think it really blocks off any houses. It's all right around the square of the river theater, the amphitheater.
This would be similar to what we've done with the
4th of July.
4th of July celebration. So it's consistent with the way we've closed this park area in the past.
The only thing different that I saw compared to this one, 4th of July, is 4th of July, or on this one, there's a section of 6th Street that would be shut down. So they just have to go around the block to get home. They wouldn't be able to go down 6th, down to the boat dock, and then up. So, because between First and Nelson on 6th would be shut down.
but they would still have access to get home.
Yes, they just have to go around the block.
Okay,
They just have to go to 7th.
Yep.
okay.
So, this is another one that, like I said, it just came up today, and I know that Todd probably hasn't seen this yet. I think he's on here, but I don't believe he's actually seen this agenda yet, so. It'd be one that I'd ask this again to be approved as long as all the department heads are okay with it, so.
I make the motion that we approve the chalk and art event based upon approval by the necessary department heads.
Okay.
Second it.
I'll second.
Okay, we do have a motion and a second. Any other questions? Then I ask for a roll call, please.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. Thanks a lot, Nikki.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now is the one Al was talking about before for Nelson Pantry request. Are they on, is anybody from that on Ring Central?
Yes, we are.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to explain this a little bit more than what just your request was? I know it was on there, but if you have anything that you'd like to specify or clarify or
Yeah.
whatever?
So my husband Jeff and I would like to put up little free pantries, they're called. Not quite sure where yet because we haven't done all the research yet. But basically, the point of the little free pantries are neighbors helping neighbors. Donate what you can, take what you need. They're good for canned goods or hygiene products during beginning of the year, putting in school supplies, things like that. We'd love to kind of get that going and see what kind of community involvement we can come up with and that kind of thing, but wanted to discuss further. Have input?
Well, we just wanted to see what we needed to do, if it
Yeah.
was possible to even do this.
Are there other communities that have done something like this?
Yes, there are. There's a website called littlefreepantry.org, and it's a not-for-profit that kind of gives you a lot of, gives a template of pretty much how to get one going. And you can also become a part of the organization and use their ideas and things like that, and then put your location of where the Little Free Pantry is on the website and that kind of thing. They are usually in higher poverty areas, and that's where research would have to come into play, just trying to figure out where would be the highest need within the city. But I'm a nurse and I work in the mental health realm doing home care, and I know that there's definitely a need within the community. Just finding a location or locations would be, no more research would have to be done on that.
I'd
I
like,
think this is a very good idea. I really like it. The only question I have is from the standpoint of just maintaining them. Are you and your husband going to be involved in just kind of helping maintain them from time to time?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and we thought about like the local Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts maybe getting involved with these as well.
Yeah, and even figuring out what kind of community involvement could we come up with, and if there's enough community involvement, then people can take on an assignment for a specific day or week or month or whatever that may be.
Do you plan them to become a little larger than the ones that we have now with the books in them? Because
Yeah.
food
Yeah.
tends to be a little bulkier, so.
Right, they're getting a little bit bigger and stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Yeah, I like this idea. It's very nice.
Are they
Towns ever
year-round, did
partner
you
up
say?
with food pantries?
What was that?
Do towns ever partner up with food pantries to do something like this?
No, not necessarily.
I mean, the hope of it is that it kind of replaces itself with people continuing to, the people that need it, use it, and then it just gets refilled, so there wouldn't really be a overflow, or if it's got full, or it just was continuing to be used.
It wouldn't be, like, the food pantry wouldn't be who would supply the food that would go into these. The hope is that the community would. Yeah, it would bring the community together in that sense.
It's a good idea.
Are you familiar with the problems they've had with the little libraries being vandalized?
Yeah, we lived right down from the one that had the busted out window.
Because we've had quite a problem with that over the years, I know.
And the one they're talking about is the main one that's had the most issues.
So location may be a big issue or really want to be researched to decide where to put them?
And I do have a question that I think the city attorney would probably be the best to answer that on this one. The liability of those items being used as thrown at vehicles or thrown at houses and stuff, would that fall back on the city if some kid tried to do something that nature? Or would that be how does that play out?
Sorry.
Steve, did you hear that?
Yeah, I just like I guess a little more, is the proposal to place these on public property somewhere?
We're not sure yet.
Yeah, the locations are where we're not 100% sure. I mean, would we put them next to one of the libraries that we already out there? We don't know. You know, there's good places that people go. We were discussing, like, even up by our library in town, we were thinking might be a potential spot. And obviously that's on the, public ground, or the city ground.
I think it would hinge on whether it's located on the city's property or not. I don't like to get too much into in public meetings, but I wouldn't see any more liability for a city with something like this on private property than a little library.
Yeah.
So would it be, let's just say there's that one on the park down here on this ward. Is that would be okay to put one right next to there, or that would be more of a problem?
I'd have to look into the location and advise the council on that. I don't advise on liability during public meetings because of the attorney-client privilege.
I think the question is valid. I think it is something that we'd want to sit down with the city attorney and walk through. I think we also want to spend some time, if the council is okay pursuing this, working with the Nelsons to identify some specific locations. But I appreciate the fact that they would come to the council first. If you're okay with us pursuing this with the Nelsons, we'll come back with some specific locations and let you respond to that more specifically.
The little free libraries have been a great thing, and I think these would be as well. I'm not too worried about a book flying into the street compared to a can of tuna or something, so that was my concern on people throw snowballs at vehicles and stuff, so I would hate for somebody to grab one of these, a can that's frozen of something, and chuck it at somewhere. I hate to say kids will do stuff like that, but I've seen it done, so.
Mr. or Mrs. Nelson, either one of you, are you looking at the possibility of having some people join you and making a committee or something, and then possibly even becoming a nonprofit in order to do this, similar to the one you were speaking of?
No, not necessarily looking for nonprofit, but definitely looking into more community involvement, developing a committee if necessary, or if that's what it comes to.
Okay.
We had talked about talking with Spawn and Rose and seeing if they would like to help sponsor and use materials from them, and then even we could advertise Spawn and Rose on there or something like that, or even get the local businesses involved, and if their businesses could be advertised on there too, something like that. That was just a thought.
If it's all right with the other council members, I would agree with Al that if you'd come back with some locations and maybe a design of what the actual food pantry structure would look like, we could have the city attorney give us an opinion and make a decision at that time if that would work for you.
Was that a motion?
Okay.
I'd second it.
Okay, you get all that, Susie? I didn't realize it was.
Did you get all what that motion was? Okay, we do have a motion and a second on approving this or supporting it. Do you want roll call or not on something like this?
I have it down.
You what?
I have it down where we can do a roll call.
I
Okay.
would, it's not a motion to approve the program, but to come back with a report.
Supporting,
Correct.
supporting the concept and looking into it, okay. Roll call then.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Looks like you have a unanimous support on doing this. If you want to look into it further, we do have your numbers, so maybe Al can reach out to you. And the chamber director is also on tonight's meeting, so maybe she can be of assistance to you also, and then you can come back at a later time with more specific information.
Okay.
That
Thank
sound-
you very much.
Thank you for presenting this to us.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Okay, next on my agenda is a motion to approve a resolution setting the date for public hearing and additional action on proposal to enter into a general purpose loan agreement and to borrow money thereunder. This is setting the date of April 26th, I believe, for the public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
I do have a motion and a second on there. Is there any other discussion? If not, a roll call, please.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Okay, next is a resolution. I'm trying to see where I'm at here. Next is the public hearing for the other. Next is a public hearing on a proposal to enter into an essential purpose loan agreement. I need a motion to receive and file proof of publication of notice of public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, I do have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Next, I will need a motion to hold the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
I do have a motion and a second to hold the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We are in public hearing in regards to entering into an essential purpose loan agreement.
Is this the $1.9 million bond? This would be the $2.596 million bond, the general obligation bond that we had proposed. It is looking at our street projects, trail projects, Highway 150, city portion. This replaces the sewer portion of that was supposed to be SRF that we were not able to enter into. Water would still remain a water revenue bond, which is the way to go for that one, but for the sewer portion, it would be more practical here. It does include aspects of the CIP that included the sidewalk replacement, sidewalk rehab, a dump truck for the street department, pickup in the building department, a utility tractor in the parks, mower deck at the airport CIP match, those items that were listed out specifically.
Any other comments or? Hearing none, I will ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
I do have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Okay, next is a motion to approve a resolution taking additional action on proposal to enter into a general obligation corporate purpose loan agreement and providing for the levy of taxes to pay general obligation corporate purpose bonds.
So moved.
Second.
You do have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Next, I am down to a public hearing in regards to proposed plan specifications, form of contract, and estimate of cost for the 2021 pavement rehabilitation project.
So moved.
I need a motion. Already got the motion? To receive and file proof of publication and notice of public hearing? Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Next, I need a motion to hold the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
I do have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We are now in a public hearing for proposed specifications in regards to our 2021 pavement rehabilitation project. Is there any information that needs to be shared or comments that were sent or questions?
Okay, Brian Crawford, Crawford Engineering. This year's project consists of asphalt milling and overlay. So in previous years, we've done crack and seat where we're working on PCC paved streets, Portland cement concrete. This year's project is asphalt streets. They include 6th Avenue Southeast from 3rd Street to just south of 4th Street Southeast. So that will tie into the existing Skogman development that's down there, the new paving from the Skogman development. And then 8th Avenue Southwest from 1st Street to 6th Street Southwest. 2nd Street Northeast from 5th to 7th. And 7th Street Northeast from 4th to 5th. So I'd be happy to answer any questions regarding the project at this time.
I think that's a good choice on bad streets.
Any comments, questions? Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome.
Since there is none, I will ask for a motion to close the hearing and receive and file oral and written comments.
So moved.
Second.
I do have a motion and a second to close the hearing. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, the same. The motion is carried, and we are out of public hearing. Okay, next I need a motion to approve a resolution finally approving and confirming plans, specifications, and estimate of cost for the 2021 pavement rehabilitation project.
So moved.
Second.
I do have a motion and a second to approve the resolution. Roll call, please.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried. Next, we are down to consideration of bids for the 2021 pavement rehabilitation program. I think Brian is coming back up.
Yeah, just very briefly, the city did receive 4 bids from 4 different bidders. They ranged from $296,000 to $383,000. And the low bid was Heartland Asphalt out of Mason City with a bid of $296,243.33. And if you recall, the 2018 project, Heartland was the low bid and was selected and did complete that work. So their work is on display on 6th Avenue Northwest. So we do recommend, if the council wishes to move forward, that they award the bid to Heartland Asphalt of Mason City as the low bidder.
I would say that's a very favorable bid, being $20,000 under what your estimate was.
Yeah, the final cost estimate, there's a little more work to do on a couple of those blocks than we originally anticipated, so the estimate you guys probably noticed was a little bit higher than the budgeted project when we put these together in 2017, trying to project out what those costs would be.
Sure.
But yeah, when we got done with it, I think our estimate was around 318, and again, the low bid's around 296. So we're pleased with that.
Yeah, I will point out to the council, being 24,000 above what we budget each year, we did go through our anticipated bond issuance items, and I think there's enough latitude in those items to cover that 24,000. So I think we'll be okay with that. I appreciate the fact that there was a little bit more work in there, and we keep the project going, but I think we'll be okay.
I'd make the motion, we award the bid to Heartland.
Second.
Thank you. I do have a motion and a second to approve the bid to, is it Heartland? Do we need a roll call on this, or is this the next item on the agenda?
It's the next item.
Next item is actually the resolution for that purpose. Okay, thank you. So I need a motion to award it. I do have a motion and a second to award the contract for the 2021 pavement rehabilitation program. Roll call.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried.
Thank you. We will communicate your guys' action tonight to the contractor, get the contracts and bonds and certificate of insurance, list of subcontractors, all those kinds of things, and then we'll be bringing that information back to the council for formal action on the contract at a later date.
Thanks, Brian.
Do we have a time that we think we're going to start this particular project, or?
There was no late start date. This is a completion date project, so they can start at their leisure, and they will present a schedule at the pre-construction meeting, which is also set by them once you get
Okay.
your contracts back. Completion date is October 15th
Okay,
of this year.
very good. Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome.
Not sure if you stay for this one. Motion to approve a resolution in support of the RISE grant application.
This is an application to secure funding from the state DOT for an extension of Enterprise Drive East, traveling east to a newly to-be constructed Larson Lane, which would then travel north to the south end of the new Prees project to support the development of a 100,000 square foot expansion of Prees manufacturing. This resolution is the next requirement for the city to complete the RISE grant application. I will point out there's a little bit of confusion with the DOT. They do ask for a traffic study on the Enterprise Drive intersection to determine whether or not the access onto Highway 150 is sufficient, or if it needs to be widened, a turning lane added, etc. I tried to explain to them that Brian was very thorough in looking at that intersection. It's as wide as DOT will allow it to be, period. And we've got the turning movements and the etc. Their only concern with this is, should the traffic study identify significant costs associated with changing any of this area, it would not be RISE eligible. So you're on, they wanted us to be on notice that if they do a traffic study and it determines that there is work to be done there, we cannot apply for additional RISE grant dollars to pay for that. But when I talked with the gentleman from DOT today and explained to him the work that we've done on 17th Street with the turning lane and on Enterprise Drive, he was far less concerned about our inability to access RISE. So We do have a TEEP study looking at the center turn lane issue on Highway 150 around 17th, along with other areas along there. But this resolution, in short, identifies the fact that we do need the money to complete this project. We will maintain it for the 20 years, which is generally accepted. It'll be a public street, all of the things that they would be concerned about putting state money into. And I would ask for your approval of this resolution to complete our application to the DOT for RISE funding.
How much would this RISE grant pay for? Would this pay for the total?
Approximately $246,000. It'll cover 50% of the eligible costs. It does not include the water and sewer extensions.
Right.
Things like that. But of the eligible costs, it's about a little less than 40% of the total project.
Is this timely enough that it would, if the traffic study approves what we needed to approve, could we receive this grant in time to begin the process?
If we do the traffic study before we submit this application, no. Because the work can't start on the project until the RISE grant is approved. Again, I won't say there's no risk, but there's very low risk as far as the traffic study demonstrating that there's a huge expense for us to put out there in order to be eligible for the RISE money. We have to submit this week to get on the April 13th DOT commission meeting for approval. Otherwise, we wait 60 days for the next commission meeting. That will pretty much eliminate this year's construction as well as put a damper on Pre's ability to expand. We've got Pre's agreeing to work with us all the way up to this point, but they're not going to wait on their project past the 13th of April. And they can't. The construction has to start now because they're taking delivery of their press in November. Their building has to be done. And because at this point, their job creation is what's driving the application, we hope to convert this to an immediate opportunity grant, which would give us a little more funding and a little more flexibility. But I can't do that until the application is successfully submitted and the DOT commission makes that determination in April. So at this point, if we hold off on the RISE grant, we're basically foregoing any RISE funding for this project. And then we have to carry all of the burden of that. So worst case scenario, we're paying for 100% of the street, water, sewer, which is, oh gosh, Brian, I'm going from memory now, $500,000 in round numbers, plus the engineering costs.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have that number.
I'd make the motion that we approve the RISE grant application.
Second.
Okay, I do have a motion and a second to approve the resolution to support the RISE grant application. I ask for a roll call, please.
Callahan?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Scharf?
Yes?
Kurtz?
Yes.
O'Laughlin?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. The question is on the intersection, if anything, for a study? Because that's the best intersection in the whole town.
Well, and when they look
Flow
at
of traffic is fantastic.
when they look at the RISE application, the increased traffic onto Highway 150, I understand why they would come up with
Yeah.
a traffic study. It makes sense until you look at the work that Brian did on making sure that intersection was going to meet those needs moving forward. So I don't have that big of a concern at this point.
It's only speculation on my part, but you also have to understand that those improvements that were just made are so recent that it's not even available on Google Earth, those kinds of things. So perhaps the DOT starts looking at the street view from Google Earth. We don't have that information for them to view. Even the aerial photos don't show those recent improvements. But if you do take a look at the development to the west of there with Walmart and everything that's west of there. The geometry very closely matches on the east side. They match each other very closely. So, not that, as Al said, not that there's no risk, but I think that risk, I would agree. I share his opinion that I think that risk is pretty small, considering the improvements that were just put in there, and that they mirror the improvements that take care of all the traffic for Walmart and other businesses west of there, and residential traffic and everybody else that comes through that intersection. So.
I probably travel that several times a day, and that intersection is actually fantastic. The lights work good, the traffic flows with semis, everything, and it's really great. I thank you for that particular project. that
You're
you
welcome.
completed, because it
I
is
agree.
good.
That one is probably the best one in town.
Yeah.
It functions just about
Yep.
the best. So.
Okay, moving on. Next item on the agenda is a motion to approve a resolution setting the fiscal year 2022 budget, CIP, and transfers.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
I do have a motion and a second, so I will ask for a roll call, please.
Rodriguez,
Juan, you're first. Is he still
You're
on there?
muted?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Juan.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Good job. Next is motion to assess property owners for Chapter 136 regulations failure to comply.
So moved.
Second.
I do have a motion and a second. I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried. We are down to other business, and the first item is the Catalyst Grant for Kings Hall.
This is the final approval of the Catalyst Grant. This is the city's $100,000 match. We're hoping to do up to $30,000 of in-kind on this match, with a number of smaller projects, including a storm sewer improvement to the east and north of the property. That's going to need some further identification. But for the city's contribution, we have to commit a total of $100,000 of cash and in-kind, and that's what we're asking the council to approve tonight. We would use tax increment financing in the original TIF district for the City of Independence, which is the downtown district, for our match.
Is there anybody on Zoom to ask questions about that, Al?
I believe we do have Lisa Kramer, and I see that we have the Whiteheads on here as well.
Well, the one question I had was I seen the before pictures and the after pictures. And the after pictures, are they gonna sandblast that to get that to look like that? Or,
The outside of the building?
yeah.
So, this is Shelley and Nate. Can we jump in here real quick?
Yeah.
Please.
I didn't hear the question.
They're asking about the outside of the building. We did have a couple of brick specialists come and look at the building, and that is the rendition that we made. I mean, ideally, we would love to see all the bricks, but both brick restoration individuals have stated with there's cement on parts of the brick on the sides of the building, that if we, more than likely, we will not be able to get off because it would destroy the brick. So until they can get in and sample in more places on the building, we can't guarantee that that will all get off, but that is the goal, is to at least get off clean part of the brick. More than likely will be the top part of the building, and the east wall for sure, we probably will have to paint part of that or several part of that because of the cement that's on the brick. But again, until they can actually physically do some testing on that material, they can't give us a for sure answer.
And Stan Corp had talked about possibly doing a mural if they have to paint.
Is that Lisa? I can barely hear you.
Saying, Sand Corporation has talked about doing a mural if they have to paint as a possibility.
Well, the concept photos look really good.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, we would love to have the whole east side of the building brick. We just don't know. Trying to correct what they've done in the past, we're not sure how much we're gonna be able to get away with. But yes, Lisa was correct that putting a mural on the east side of the building is also an option as well. If we have to paint, if we can't restore that brick, then that would be a viable option.
Sounds like a good one.
I'd make the motion, we approve the Catalyst grant.
Okay.
A second?
I do have a motion and second to approve the Catalyst grant for Kings Hall. Can I have a roll call, please?
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried. Good job, guys. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
Next, we are down to a discussion on our mask mandates. And I look around and only one has this on right now.
But we got petitions here.
We do have the petitions.
Yeah, I know.
The question is, and we haven't talked about this for a couple of months, so it's just bringing it back with the vaccinations rolling out and with the positivity rate dropping and staying down, is it time for us to lift the public facility mask mandate? And so it's here for your discussion.
I make a motion to keep the mask mandate on
I
because
second it.
the majority of the population has not been vaccinated yet.
And I think most of the information says that even when people are vaccinated, there's still going to be potential for, passing it on. So I agree. I think we should continue for the foreseeable future with our masks.
We're getting businesses open, let's keep them that way, We don't
So
wanna
the
go
mandate
backwards.
right now is strictly public buildings are required to have masks, or?
Correct. Our current mask mandate states that we will have masks in public facilities.
So can I
That's
ask a question about
relative.
outside? How does that relate to outside?
Bob wants to know how does it relate to his crew that's working outdoors?
Well, I think anyone that's in a park. I'm talking about public property and outside facilities.
Bob, probably people social distancing have taken the masks away, so, some common sense probably.
Well, that's what I was hoping, but I wasn't sure. I just wanted to make sure that when we're outside, or when we're doing activities outside, that we aren't mask mandating if they're able to social distance. We're well below numbers from last summer. Last summer was zero problems from any of our departments, any of our crew, any of our staff, any of our participants had no problems last year. I'm hoping we're in a much better place this year, that we don't need to have a mask mandate when we're outside.
Just as a point of comment, I noticed today I had a veterinary appointment for my dog, and they have taken down all their mask regulations now at the veterinary clinic, which I was quite surprised. And if you look around town, there's a lot of businesses that are removing those signs. I just wonder if we may want to look at maybe going effective April 1st or April 15th or something like that, that we remove it from our city buildings.
Well, and again, the purpose of this is not to say, hey, we're demanding it. I want to make sure the council's being deliberate in whatever action we take, and we don't just let it languish out there. I think that as we get into summer, it has more merit. If the council prefers to leave the mask mandate in public facilities, I think that, and that's kind of what I heard you comment, versus the public facilities, the outdoor facilities, the complex, the parks, the open areas.
Yeah. I'd say you summarized it pretty good.
The pool.
Because you can always come back and look at this again next month or the month after.
Yeah, absolutely,
Review it again.
right. No, and that's fine. I just want to make sure we're being deliberate in what we do.
And I have had
But
some
I do
bit,
want people to consider that in Independence, Iowa is not, I mean, Dr. Fauci talks every day, but he's not talking about Independence, Iowa. He doesn't live here. We've been under 3% for almost 3 weeks positivity rate. That's people that are sick getting tested. We're less than 3%. I just think that as a mask mandate outside, I think at this point we can lift that come April 1 and maybe revisit the indoor spaces, later on, maybe in May or June. But I just think starting April 1, I think outside we should be 100% fine. Use common sense, which I think we did last year. We were able to do last year. We had one case. That case was from the hospital, not from our staff directly. No one else tested positive. I think we did a pretty good job, and I just would like to have that same freedom this year to do that as well.
Do we have a date on R1 now, the mandate
It is
now? We don't?
until the council declares it.
Okay,
I mean, it's open-ended because we didn't know.
okay.
And that's
Was
why
our,
we bring
was
it back.
Our last one that we implemented, I thought that was just only inside city buildings, not outside, like parks and stuff.
Well, it does affect the Parks Department in their work crews. I guess I would just, so we're all on the same page, if the council's okay lifting the outdoor mask mandate, I mean, for those outside crews, with the idea that we maintain it inside public facilities, and I think that was your intent, Deb?
Yes.
So if the council's okay with that, I would just ask for that for clarification, so we're all on the same page.
Sure.
I was
would
gonna
make
say, and I've had business people tell me it's easier for them to continue to require masks because the city's setting a good example. You know, before we set our mask policy, they were having really difficult time in enforcing what the business wanted to. So I think it just sets a good example to keep the indoor.
Deb, was that your motion?
Yes.
I'd second that.
Can we clarify that again?
Indoor mask mandate for public facilities is being maintained.
But outdoor,
Out- We're lifting it,
And the stress on social distancing outside,
correct.
stress.
And common sense.
Stressing the common sense.
Common sense is good.
You're asking for a lot there.
And just for clarification, the rate that they calculate for the positivity rate has been changed. The formula to calculate it has been changed, so it automatically moved it downward. So just don't get too excited about 3% or less than 3%.
Yeah, Mike, there's very few cases at all right now in Buchanan County. Our school district has very few, if any. I mean, the positivity rate, I don't care how you calculate it. There's not many cases currently. You know, the one hot spot, one hot time we had, which led to a lot of the closing, was when the MHI got it and when the nursing home up here got it. That led to the highest positivity rate. But we've been cycling down for a long time.
Okay, do you understand what you're voting on? Do you need a roll call for this one?
I can if you'd like.
Yeah.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. Is that okay with you, Bob? That give you good direction?
The outside is excellent.
Okay.
That's a start.
And I think since we're still keeping it for indoors for public meetings, that should still help businesses to, they make their own decision whether they take that sign down or keep it up for their own security. So if they
We're gonna
want
take
masks in
Bob
their
off the
building.
phone list.
Yeah.
He didn't hear me, did he?
No, I don't think
I
so.
didn't hear you, Bob.
I didn't say a word.
Ignore
I
him.
think I'd like to hear that. I'll play it back tomorrow.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, next on the agenda is a motion to approve signature on airport insurance renewal from Old Republic as presented.
So moved.
Who's the agent for this?
Rusty Donley is our local agent who represents us to Jester Insurance out of Des Moines, who is the carrier for the insurance.
Second.
I do have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Last item on the agenda is in regards to appointment of the city clerk treasurer. I know you had a closed session earlier. Did
That was
you get a
removed.
We
result?
removed that from the,
That was the one you removed? Oh,
Yeah.
that's the item you removed? Okay,
Yes.
good. Okay, so that's not on there anyhow. So we were down to reports. Was there any council committee meetings that need to be reported on? Not till next week or so, a couple of weeks? Any comments from council members?
I'd like to have, I spoke with Dustin briefly out in the fire department because I've had several calls and it's about the cameras, but I'd rather have him say it on that line so everybody can hear it, so we don't get the same questions over and over again. It's in reference to some of the things, and you touched, I heard you say some of the things I was just gonna talk about, Dustin. You can't please everybody, we know that.
Yes.
But one of the questions was, when you moved the speed sign limit from the west side to the east side where that camera's at? This guy said he wrote it down, it happened in March. Well, going back, first of all, would you tell the people, some of them said they call this number on the back to contest it, and nobody calls them back.
Okay.
But now, did I hear it correctly that there's a hearing that goes in front of Mr. Meyer?
Yes. There's two different options. There's a phone number on the back of the citation that they're supposed to call, and they're supposed to set up a hearing that way if they want to contest it, or they can go online with the website that's there and contest it that way. It's either direction, one or the other.
Okay. And he said he called twice and never got a return. He leaves a message, but nobody responds.
Okay. I haven't heard that before, but I will check into that.
Okay, thank you. We go back to the next one. This person the granddaughter got a speeding ticket, 27 over, well, not 27 over, but 7 over,
Okay.
for $75. Now, the question is, they thought it was steep for $75, they paid the ticket. Now, what I'd like you to say to them is, if that policeman gave him that ticket, how much more would that be? I mean, ballpark it, I don't understand, I know you.
Last time I remember, one at 10 over was like 120 or more, and that goes on your driving record as well, and which can affect your insurance, where these do not.
And then you've got court costs and whatever with that?
Correct.
Correct? Okay.
Yes.
And if she was under 18, that would revoke her license then, too.
Yes. If she had an intermediate license, and yes, it would more than likely pull that from her, or she'd be suspended for a certain period of time from it.
Next question, and we've discussed it, but I want everybody to know this again. What percentage, now, did that corporation that owned the cameras get? Now, was it like 38?
Yes.
Okay, I don't want to speak out of turn, but,
It's either 38% or $38, whatever is higher. So like at the $75 one, we'll get 37, they'll get 38. Now when it goes to the $100 fine, they'll get 38% of the citation and we'll get the rest. So as the fine gets higher, they get 38% instead of the $38.
okay, answer that question, very good. This person comes off of 9th Avenue Southwest, and they're turning on, I know, they said Main Street, but they meant First Street.
Correct.
We don't have any Main Street.
Mhm.
But everybody knows what we're talking about. But the signage, the complaint was the signage was back of where she turned on to, but you've corrected that from my understanding.
So
One more like Buttermilk now?
the original sign that starts at each side of the school zone are white and yellow. There's a big white sign with flashing lights, and there's a yellow spot above it, the yellow part of a sign that flashes yellow, and then there's a spinning thing on top that's red and white that spins in the wind. That one starts at the beginning of each school zone. The one that's coming from the east side is right before Casey's on the north side of the road. And if you're heading east, the next sign that you would, heading west, the next sign you'd come to would be a yellow one, which was just past the cameras. It was not more than maybe 10, 15 feet past the cameras, but you could see it when you're traveling westbound. That one's been moved to before the cameras, two poles before the cameras, right where Buttermilk is, yes. And we've also ordered 4 more other signs that say the school zone that are en route. So once we get those, we'll add those up as well.
Okay. Go down their little list here.
Mhm.
There's a, okay, now, the sign there, it flashes and everything, and it says in the morning, it says from 7:30 to 8:30.
Correct.
The question was, on the days where, like, say Independence starts 2 hours later,
Mhm.
will that go from like 9:30, 10:30? If that light's not flashing, it's not, is that, you understand what they're trying to ask me?
Correct. The sign that is up there that has the speed times in place, we go off of those times. So if school is delayed, then we don't move the school zone time till that time. We go with the sign that's there.
It's posted.
But because there's no school at that time, we void all the ones that are in that time frame. So if there's a late start because of snow, which we can't predict, any of them that run between 7:30 and 8:30 are all voided because there's no school at the time. That thing is meant for safety. That's why we put it out there. The safety of the kids that are traveling back and forth. So if there's no school to be there, there's no school zone, no reason to have it. So those are all voided at that time.
Okay.
And that also goes into Fridays. Every Friday, our school gets out early. They get out at 1:30-ish, whatever time that is. So any of the ones in the afternoon, because school is out early, the signs will flash because the school has control of the signs, but the speed cameras are not enforced at that time.
That's on Friday afternoon?
Yes,
Every Friday afternoon?
yes.
Okay.
Because the school, when those signs were first put up and the the school starting and ending times were set on those signs is when the city or the school still used like a specific day for their in-service for their teachers. Well, they changed that. Instead of having one specific day, now they have every Friday out early, and that Friday afternoon the teachers get to work on whatever they need to. Because they did that, and we can't change the signs of the time every single time they want to change or do something different, we just void all the ones Friday afternoon.
Okay. Very good. And then you just answered one of our other questions was, in which we all think we know it, it's for safety.
Mhm.
We've done this. And I heard you say earlier, someone asked the question, didn't you say the citations were down considerably because of?
Right, from every month that we have these operational, it will tell me kind of roughly a percentage. And on the top, it will tell me like how much of a percentage it went down from the previous month. And when we had our warning section, it was a certain amount. Then the next month, it was down 50%. So it means people once they start getting these citations, they start slowing down dramatically. I mean, it's done everything that I've wanted it to do is just slow people down in that school zone. It's 20 miles an hour. We give them 5. It's not till 6 over of speeding that they get cited for, so they still get 5 miles an hour, but it has dramatically slowed people down through that school zone time.
Okay. Good job, and thank you. As I told the 3 of the people I talked to, I said, watch the meeting. I'll have Dustin up there and explain it, because sometimes it's nice to hear from you, so they don't think I'm trying to give them some smoke. I appreciate that. And if some of you other people had some questions before, I was just listening to you. That's why and you had some good ones, all of you guys were talking. I thought you did a good job. Thank you, Dustin.
Thank you.
I have a copy of this one that was sent to me because, so to contest in person, it has the www.viewcitation.com. That goes here locally.
That goes to a website where they get to pick if they want to pay for it, if they want to contest it. There's also a section on there where if, let's say, somebody borrowed your vehicle and you want it to go into their name, where they can print off a form to have that filled out so it goes in the other person's name. The other person has to sign it as well. You can't just forward it on to somebody else like your neighbor. So they have to be admitting to taking fault for it as well. But it doesn't go on your driving record, doesn't affect your insurance, so I mean, it's not too big of a deal. That's one of the biggest questions I have is about their driving record.
Well, and then it has a number that's 855-370-4229 to speak to a representative. Does
Correct.
that come out here to the police department, or does
Nope.
that go to the?
That goes to the company that operates. That's why they get that 38%, because they operate the cameras, they take care of them. If there's any issues, they fix them. They mail out all the mailings. They own the website that they go, that log on. They have the call center that if somebody wants to contest it that way, they can call that phone number. For those that don't use a computer or don't have access to the internet, that's the other option that they have, is calling that number.
Well, then it has a thing that if they want to do it by mail, to request a municipal infraction case be filed, they send a request here to City Hall. Why is that not police department? Because it's 331 First Street.
Oh, the form that they want to have it done by mail is set up so it has to be mailed in so that we have a copy of that. As of right now, it is set up as City Hall. We are getting that changed to what gets mailed to us.
Okay.
So eventually that will say be mailed to the police department.
So that's why I ended up getting this, or I think this person sent it out to several people.
But, and there's a form if you want to contest it by mail, they have to fill out, which is going through the online portion that they have to fill that portion out. And then that's the part they have to mail to us or mail to City Hall for us.
If all else fails, they just call the police department? and ask
Absolutely. I'll be happy to answer any questions that they have.
Very good, that was my next question. Thank
Yep.
you.
I think that's probably the quickest one, anybody around here, if they have
Yeah.
any questions.
And Katie,
Call the police
Administrative
department.
office,
yes.
not 911.
No, not 911.
No.
And Katie already has it said, when she hears something about a speeding ticket, she goes, Dustin, it's for you. So it's pretty simple. It's either me or myself or Captain Lau that answers the phone calls, and we'll be happy to answer any questions anybody has.
And it's going to take a while for people to figure this out and such. Some people will just pay it and not hassle with it, and others have questions, so. Hopefully your response tonight gave a good clarification. I hope everybody heard it, and it will be in the minutes itself, so. Anybody else have anything? Do we have any department heads? Police department have anything back there, or?
Well, did you?
Nope, nope. Did you-
Dyersville, is there anybody going to that?
I was going to bring that up next Tuesday at noon, Dyersville, for the Northeast Iowa Regional League meeting. Councilman Hill is going. I am going, if you want to go. Did you get registered yet, Deb?
I just, I think, emailed you that said I was interested.
Okay, I'll make sure that you're registered so we have that.
Did you register me?
I did register you, Bob.
And then the other thing was citywide cleanup. Are we going to be?
Citywide cleanup will take place, and I'll find that exact date for you. It'll be the June, oh gosh, it's not the Saturday after Memorial Day, it's a week after that. I think Memorial Day is the 24th, so that would put us around the 5th, which feels like it's a week early.
Or is it the 31st?
What's that?
Is Memorial Day the 31st?
I don't have it on here.
June 12th?
I think it's June 12th, but I'll send that out for you, Deb. But it'd be one of those first 2 weeks of June. It's
And are we going to
Saturdays.
need volunteers again this year?
Yes.
John and I got to retire from the big TVs.
Yeah, I've been
We'll put you on
wounded
the,
too many years in a row.
That's right.
we'll give you the
They
little
should be gone
appliances.
pretty soon, shouldn't they?
No.
I can't believe they're still
Anyone
the
else have any comments?
I do.
800-pound
I'm not done.
TVs.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Very quickly, at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, we're having the pre-construction meeting for the Highway 150 project. That is available on Ring Central if you have an interest in participating virtually. We did receive notice, and I think I sent that out to you, under the American Rescue Plan. We are earmarked to have $850,000. We get 50% of it sometime in the next 60 or 90 days. They're not sure because of our size community and how the distribution works. The other 50% comes 12 months after the first distribution. On Thursday at 10:30, there's a community development block grant walk downtown for anybody who's interested in participating. The State Department of Economic Development will be here to do a walkthrough and discussion. Let me know if you're interested in participating. I just want to make sure we don't get too big of a crowd in one place at one time.
They start out meeting at Bill's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm interested.
okay.
Which date was
Al,
that?
put me down. I already notified
way.
Nikki I was going, but if you'd put me
Yep.
down too.
Very good.
When's that?
Okay.
When is it?
Thursday at 10:30,
This Thursday?
this Thursday,
Okay, go ahead and put me down too, please.
okay?
I'd already sent in to Nikki too.
Or no, I can't, I've got an appointment, I can't.
Okay,
I'd sent in to Nikki that I'd come to. Tomorrow's 11 o'clock?
tomorrow's 11 o'clock. And we are meeting here, but we do have a virtual component to that, if that helps anybody at all, so. And that's all I got.
Don't we have something Wednesday for a tornado drill?
That's a secret.
It's supposed to be a secret. We're going to panic everybody, not knowing.
Your power's
Including
loaded,
me.
Bonnie.
They told me I could head to my closet, my walk-in closet, and you're taking over. From the last drill. That's another whole story.
Bonnie, I don't have that on my calendar, I'm not sure.
I have it on mine, but
Okay.
not sure on it either. Anybody else have anything? And I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
Move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Go home.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We are out of here. Thank you.